Sandra, breaking down, Iranian state media says new explosions have been heard near Bandar Abbas. That's the part of Iran where the United States hit earlier, damaging bridges and more as they look to cut off the regime's supply lines. Let's bring in retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert. So a lot of the attacks have been around Bandar Abbas, but further east, I guess the most eastern port city along the coastline of the Gulf of Oman and then the Arabian Sea is Chabahar, where yesterday, take a look at this video from CENTCOM, they took down what they call the surveillance tower. I guess it's really a control tower that gives the IRGC, according to CENTCOM, eyes way out into the sea so that they can try to pinpoint ships that they're attacking. What does it mean that they're taking it this far? Because they have attacked Chabahar many times in the past, but left this standing.
John, I'm encouraged that it seems like U.S. Central Command is now focused on more operationally significant targets, railways and bridges, and now an early warning coastal radar. And I think it does three possible things. Number one, that it prevents Iran's military from resupplying themselves and threatening the Strait of Hormuz in a far better way than individual targets would. Number two, it might be preparing the battlefield for a ground invasion of operationally significant areas. And then number three, I think it's a demonstration by the president that we are willing to escalate, and he might actually follow through on expanded military operations next week.
So this idea of ground forces really strikes fear into the hearts of most Americans. But if you look at places like Chabahar and Bandar Abbas, they are very, very isolated. And with Iran's navy gone and with bridges being taken out, it would be very hard to bring in reinforcements if an American invasion force were to land there.
I think that's exactly right. And I think if you look at those operationally significant areas and you cut them off from resupply, then it makes them militarily ineffective, either to project power or to defend themselves or to counter a ground invasion. And I think part of the reason for doing these types of activities at an operational level is to allow the president the option for any of those type of activities starting next week.
All right. So we've seen this movie before, a little bit different version of it. But as we attack Iran, Iran cries uncle of a sort, says, let's go to the table. They go to the negotiating table. They lie, they delay, they cheat. What's it going to take to get them to finally say, OK, this time we really give up?
Well, I think the president is beyond his patience level here. And I think that he's seen enough bad faith from the Iranians over the course of the ceasefire period for the last 3.5 months that he is serious about these expanded military operations. And I think what we're seeing around Bandar Abbas is a bit of a down payment. And I hope that he follows through not just in that area, but to Tehran as well to strike at the heart of the regime.
All right. So let's say that we get to the point where the IRGC says, OK, enough, let's actually negotiate. But it's the same regime full of lunatics. You know, does anything change, or do they just go back to the same old playbook?
They have used that playbook significantly in the last 3 months. And
They've
either
been
we
using
have
it
to
for
hold
47 years.
They have. We've got to hold them accountable and actually have a condition-based approach, which means Iran doesn't get any benefits of a deal until they actually follow through on their end.
But they already had that deal, and they reneged on it.
Well, and they should have, but we did not hold them sufficiently accountable. We struck small targets. We struck tactically significant targets, but striking at operationally significant targets, or even better, the sources of power or the things that the regime values most, will change the strategic calculus for a regime that otherwise has been undeterred or uncompelled by the tactical attacks we have made in the last several weeks.
A lot of people think that they're absolutely irredeemable regardless of how much you punch them in the nose.